You could be talking about a million topics, but you're missing what's happening in the cultural conversation. When you master trend surfing, when you understand how to spot trends and then quickly start paddling and putting in the energy to ride that wave, it can change everything.
Did you know that there are specific videos that if you make them, they can blow up your YouTube channel? Not even just blow up your YouTube channel, but you can get more views and subscribers and really build authority in your niche. And if you are looking for those specific videos, then I recommend that you lean into today's episode. If you feel like you're struggling with trying to figure out what videos should you make next, then this is the episode for you. We're starting a 2-part series where we're going to be sharing with you the videos that you should be looking for in your niche if you're trying to blow up your channel. My name is Heather Torres, and you are listening to the Think Media Podcast, the #1 podcast to help you grow your influence on YouTube and then turn that influence into a high profit and a high impact YouTube channel. If you're brand new to this podcast, we want to welcome you. And if you are returning, thanks for coming back. We love seeing our Think community over here on the podcast. Well, in today's first part, we're going to be diving into how to find videos that are going to help your channel grow. Sean's going to be breaking this down in a 2-parter, so lean in because this is the video for you if you're stuck on YouTube. If you're not getting views, if you can't figure out how to grow, this is the video for you. Well, let's jump into today's featured conversation, and I'll be telling you at the end about something you need to do for 5 days.
Have you ever been surfing? I don't know, maybe you've seen people surfing in movies or surfing on social media somewhere. Maybe if you grew up on a coast, you grew up surfing, or maybe you did it once on a vacation. For me, I didn't really grow up surfing. I grew up in the Northwest, so skateboarding and snowboarding was my thing. But as far as surfing goes, it was a little too cold unless you wore a wetsuit, and I didn't really want to wear a wetsuit up in Seattle. But eventually, I had the opportunity later in life to hang out with my friend Jeff Moores, who lives in Oceanside, California. He's a local church pastor, church planter, and he's really into surfing. So one day he wanted to take me surfing. Now, there was other things I wanted to do, eat, sleep in, a lot of other things, in fact. But he's like, come on, bro, let's go surfing. So he got me the biggest, spongiest longboard possible. He's a ripper. He can get on those little short boards. And we went out to the pier and we went out to the beach at Oceanside, California. And we started to surf. And it was awful. I mean, there might have been the worst day of my life for a lot of reasons. I mean, number one, I didn't have the skill to surf. Number two, I haven't really built the strength to surf. So I'm, salt water's in my eyes are burning. I'm swimming out to the waves. My arms are already tired and we're 3 minutes into it. So as I start to try to get up and catch waves and fall down and swim back out, I'm getting really fatigued quickly. And what you need to really do is kind of do a push-up simultaneous as you're catching the wave. And so I'm just getting hammered by waves. I can't really ever stand up. My longest wave I rode was like 2 seconds before falling. It was pretty traumatic. I mean, honestly, and I maybe if I stuck with it, I could develop that skill, but even that's pretty doubtful. That's the story. But here's an insight that I got about YouTube when surfing in Oceanside with Jeff is I would watch how he would do things. And he was super fit, so he would just swim right out past the waves. He'd turn around, sit on his board, and then he'd watch. He'd watch for coming waves. He'd watch for the right wave at the right time, and then he would start to paddle. He would then pop up on his board, and he would ride that wave that he spotted for as long as it lasted. And that was his goal, was to catch the right waves that would give you, a nice, long-lasting wave with the right curl. This is not an official term. I'm sorry for offending the surfers. With the right, you don't want the white water, but you want it cresting right. Okay, I'll leave it there. But, so he would catch these waves, and then he would swim back out, and he would catch another one. What I thought about this is really one of the best strategies on YouTube that we talk about, and we call it trend surfing. Trend surfing. I heard it said by one person that really winning on YouTube is about understanding human psychology and spotting trends. And so when I think about trend surfing, it's this idea that you're sitting on the waves, you're positioned, you're not on the beach, you're not on the sidelines, you're ready to create content. You're ready to hit record. You're ready to make a video, but you're also just kind of sitting there waiting and strategically looking at what are the trends? What are the things that are happening? What trends, what waves are coming? And when a wave starts to come, when it's a good wave, see what will happen for Jeff is when he's at home, he might have planned to just chill at home in the morning and drink coffee, but he looks at the weather report and he's like, oh man, it's going to be a good day. Oh, the swell is going to be good today. Man, I got to get down to the beach and I got to hit the waves. Smart YouTube creators, when they spot trends, when they see a wave beginning, they've developed the skill to see a trend coming. They've developed the skill to jump on the trend quickly. They've developed the skill to ride the trend while it is present, and then they've developed the skill to swim back out and catch another trend. You know, the truth is the creator who understands the viewer best wins on YouTube. And the best creators know what viewers want. But here's your objection. You might say, Sean, like, is trends just, should I just make random trendy content? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about just being off brand, neglecting the value proposition or the niche or the niche of your channel. No, I'm actually talking about tying trends into your content. Your goal is to talk about the timely topics that people are thinking about in the moment related to your niche. The best surfers are not catching every wave. They're catching the right waves that they know how to ride that are going to work best with their board, their style, their skills. So you want to be looking at what trends related or adjacent to my industry could I catch? What's some examples of trend surfing? Well, here's one. Erica Kohlberg has a personal finance channel. She's also a lawyer, and that's her background, and she's really grown quickly, over 100,000 subscribers. She actually got a lot of press and media because of how quickly she grew. So one of the things she was doing on her channel was not just a video on how to save, how to invest, how to get out of debt. Those are good questions, but those are a lot of people have answered those questions. You should answer specific questions. But what she did was, especially during the pandemic, there was the whole stimulus conversation. And a lot of people were searching, looking for information about stimulus checks, who qualifies, the fine print, the details. And she made multiple videos about stimulus checks specifically, and almost single-handedly, those videos put her on the map. You are one successful surfing trip on a trend away from building your YouTube channel to a really high level, maybe even a silver play button and over 100,000 subscribers. I think about Think Media, and a lot of opportunities came out of the pandemic. Now listen, I'm not trying to be insensitive. I'm not negating all of the pain and lingering pain that happened during that time. But our spirit and mentality at Think Media is not to just sit on the sidelines. We're empathetic to the problems, but we also want to serve and solve problems in the midst of challenging situations. Because the pandemic made you have to figure out how to homeschool and stay home, and maybe disrupted your job. So we're here to say, well, actually, in every problem is hidden opportunity, the opportunity to pivot, the opportunity to figure out how to build a business from home. So one of the videos we made during the pandemic was how to use your phone as a webcam on Zoom. So people, they're locked down. Now it's remote work. Now it's teleconferencing. That is a trend, a massive trend. I mean, some of these trends, we're talking about the search volume, the interest volume skyrocketed through the roof because all of a sudden everyone's at home. There's also a back order for a lot of 2020. There was back orders on webcams and all kinds of other things. So someone already has their laptop. They already have a phone. So make a video on how to use a webcam when using Zoom, and the video just blows up, on its way to 1 million views, because we were trend surfing. What are people thinking about in your industry or related to your industry that would attract the right viewers to your channel? What are the timely topics that you could be talking about? Vitali, one of our Video Raking Academy students and Inner Circle students, has a channel called Succeed in REI. That's real estate investing. And he's an attorney, and he did a video explaining the EIDL loans and the contract documents for the small business loans given out because of the pandemic again. Kind of similar to Erica, that video on his channel got 236,000 views. His audience, small business owners, real estate investors, using his skill set, jumping on the actual topics people are talking about. Now hear me, This strategy is worth its weight in gold if you apply it. Because again, you might just be checking the box and making just general videos answering questions, which is a good kind of day-to-day method of posting content on YouTube. But if you really want to trigger massive growth and results, lean into trend surfing. Calm your mind. Sit on the waves. Observe culture. Observe what's happening in society around you. What is your target audience thinking about? What do they want to know about? Everybody in Erica's audience and people she didn't know yet, they wanted to know about stimulus checks. Vitaly, they wanted to know about these small business loans. There was a few years back, one of the huge trends in kind of more of the entertainment or DIY was people, when Harry Potter was really crushing in terms of the movies being released, people wanted to do DIY wizard wands, the Harry Potter wands. So I looked up a video, easy step-by-step Harry Potter DIY wizard wand from paper. This channel has 3,000 subscribers. Maybe you can relate. Maybe you're on your way to your first 1,000 subscribers or you're under 10,000 subscribers. But they posted that video, 123,000 views. So if it's a DIY crafts channel, you could say how to make a magic wand with paper. Probably not going to do amazing, but you tie into a movie. You tie into what people are searching about. You tie into a trend like Harry Potter, and all of a sudden you have 30x, 100x your subscriber count in terms of views, and your channel is growing because of trend surfing. Think about the cryptocurrency niche or Dogecoin or Elon Musk. People are talking about these characters all the time getting massive views because they're in the cultural conversation. One of our Video Ranking Academy students, Bobby Eberly, covers conservative news or news from a conservative perspective. He just got a silver play button because he's able to cover trending topics in politics. By the way, that's kind of a secret there. Imagine if you don't just use trend surfing for one video, but imagine if you actually built your channel around trend surfing, which is essentially what Bob Eberly did. Think about cooking. Maybe it's a seasonal dish. Maybe it's a certain barbecue style that's popular. Bulletproof coffee was a huge trend years ago, and this is kind of one of my passions. I watch a lot of this content on YouTube, kind of like biohacking, weird supplements and tinctures and powders and BCAAs and all kinds of different things. My wife, Sonia, it's like a real problem. She's like, why did 4 more jars of vitamins and supplements show up to our house? We already have 800 on the countertop. And Sean, I'm a little bit frustrated. And I'm like, okay, call the marriage counselor, but I actually am ordering some other stuff. That's a true story. This Bulletproof coffee thing, I just ordered on sale a whole bunch more stuff from Bulletproof. Glutathione, zinc with copper, A, D, K, all combined in one, because to get your D vitamin, you actually want K and A related to it. She's like, do you need these? I'm like, yes, honey, I need these. But as I get more focused on the examples we're sharing, years ago, all of a sudden people were like, what? People are putting butter and MCT oil in their coffee? This is crazy. Turns out that it actually can be a way to curb hunger and give yourself some energy and even lose weight in the morning. And of course, people have different opinions in the health industry, but it was a massive trend. When it was big, it was massive. So if you're talking about fitness, you're talking to entrepreneurs who want to go to high performance, you're talking about things, you could be talking about a million topics, but you're missing what's happening in the cultural conversation. When you master trend surfing, when you understand how to spot trends and then quickly start paddling and putting in the energy to ride that wave, it can change everything. Entertainment. I mean, if you think about YouTube in itself, if you have an entertainment type of channel, challenges on YouTube, not challenges like our 5-day YouTube challenge, which if you haven't been a part of one of those, you got to definitely sign up. But challenges on YouTube, they call them like, if you remember planking, like it even ended up in like The Office or different shows or Parks and Rec, there's a watermelon with mustard challenge. You know what I mean? Have you seen that? Like boyfriend does girlfriend's makeup challenge. Like these are different challenges. But when these challenges are happening, that is trend surfing. It's what's happening. If you look at, we're talking about YouTube, but even on TikTok, when songs are trending, when everyone is, I got my driver's license last week, like we always talk about. You know what I'm talking about? If you don't know what I'm saying, I'm going to leave it there. But Olivia Rodrigo, or I hope I said her name right, like, when the songs are trending, people start riding that trend. Well, challenges on YouTube can sometimes be that. And if you have an entertainment channel, you absolutely can be doing trend surfing in that way. Or maybe there's a trending game if you're in gaming. Maybe it's a challenge in a game. Some people are like, they play a certain game only using voice commands and not a remote or a controller, like different handicaps or things like that people start doing, or certain speed runs and trying to beat other people's speed runs. You use trend surfing right, and you're one video away from changing your life and business with YouTube. And so I want to share my favorite tools that I use for spotting trends, but ask yourself this question: what does your audience want to see? What is a trending topic you can cover that is relevant to your niche and your channel? And again, this is really $1 million idea. What if your channel was based around trending topics? What do you mean, Sean? Again, when you think about Bobby Eberly or like news channels or commentary channels or react channels, they're constantly feeding off of trends and culture. How could you strategically incorporate that maybe into your upload schedule? Well, Sean, how do I spot trends? Well, one way is youtube.com/trending. Now, this isn't my favorite way for probably most of us in the Think Media podcast community, because what you're going to see here is a lot of music videos, a lot of the biggest YouTube creators with these larger than life types of videos, and creators that sometimes have a team of 100 people and huge budgets, which is all fine. And by all means, you might spot some unique indie creators or new up and comers. So it's definitely a page worth checking out. youtube.com/trending. Maybe there's a video you can react to. Maybe you react to it from a business perspective, a faith perspective, a spiritual perspective, a personal finance perspective, a cooking perspective, a chef, a scientific perspective, a health perspective, like whatever your niche, what's on that page that you could maybe tie into. Another one is Google Trends. You can compare and contrast how much influence trends really have. Think about it this way. On Think Media, we sometimes say, what cameras should we cover next? And we'll type in the Canon M50 on Google Trends, select YouTube results. We'll type in the Sony a6600 on Google Trends. We'll type in a couple different, and you can compare and contrast which cameras have the biggest wave, the most traffic behind them, and then make decisions about which videos we're going to make. That's my friend Jeff sitting on the water catching the right wave, because you only have so much time in a day. You're going to make and try to make at least one video a week, to the degree that the topic of that video makes a real impact is how quickly you're going to reach your YouTube goals. Another one is Google News. I like to type in my topics on Google News that I like to cover and just see what are the latest articles, what are the latest headlines about the creator economy, or what are the latest headlines about YouTube. That's my industry. Have you typed in your industry on Google News to see what are the latest trends or things that are happening or news that is broken? Number 4, any industry-leading publications or blogs that are specific to your market. You could set up notifications on your Mac or PC so that you get notifications from the blogs that matter to you. Like for us at Think Media, this is like Sony Rumors, Canon Rumors, Video Maker, No Film School. And again, a lot of these headlines might come at me and I'm like, that's not relevant. No big deal. You just kind of glance over them daily or whatever. But sometimes it's like Sony releasing a brand new camera for vloggers. I'm like, oh man, it's time for us to take action and jump on that. You want to make sure you've set up a flow of information coming your way if you want to use trend surfing strategically to grow your channel. Number 5 is following other industry experts or other experts in your industry. There's so much noise and information, and even in your niche within a niche within a niche, it's hard to stay up on what's happening in your industry. So one of the powerful things to do is follow people strategically on social media, not just meme accounts, unless you have a meme channel, not just random accounts that are not helping you, that are based on humor or whatever. But what if you followed people that will bring information to you because they're valuable social media channels? So you're not just scrolling looking for mindless entertainment, but you have strategic people or brand accounts delivering information right to your social media feed. And the 6th tip is kind of the same, is curating your social media accounts that you follow. What if you set up your social media so that relevant information flows to you? I want to encourage you that this isn't the only strategy that you need in your tool belt. This is just one of many tools. And I also want to encourage you, this is why you need to get to Growth Video Live this year. It's a virtual event. It's 2 days. And we're not just going to be going deeper on topics like trend surfing. We're going to be talking about tools like this, which is the difference between those that stay stuck on YouTube and those that really scale and build a profitable YouTube business that gets massive views and massive subscribers. You need tools in your tool belt, and trend surfing is one of those tools. And when you use it wisely at the right time, it can trigger massive growth and views for your channel. So I encourage you, try trend surfing out on your next video.
Well, I hope that started to spark some ideas. I know as Sean was going through it, I was thinking of ideas that we could be doing here on the Think Media podcast, riding some trends in our niche that we haven't even done yet. So stay tuned because more episodes are coming just like this. And I want to ask you, what's your step that you need to take? Do you have a video that you could make? Do you have a trend? Maybe you need to follow someone in your niche, or like Sean said, start looking up Google Trends to see what is actually happening in your niche. For me personally, on my homeschool channel, I remember when the pandemic hit. It was like people wanted to figure out, how do I start homeschooling? So I jumped in and I made that video. And I'm so grateful that I did. That video has now led to several different podcast interviews because I rode the trend. So what trend can you ride? What does this look like for you? And what video can you make next? Now, I told you at the beginning of this episode that there was something you need to do for 5 days, and that is our Tube 1K challenge. We have a brand new free live interactive challenge where we are going to be helping you get to your first 1,000 subscribers and beyond. This is a 5-day challenge that you can take for free. And then at the end, we're going to help you go deeper on YouTube. I highly recommend that you go to tube1kchallenge.com to get signed up and registered, and then share it with a friend. Who can you take this challenge with? We've seen so many testimonials of people who have gone through our other challenges, and this one is fresh with brand new content that's going to help you get to your first 1,000 subscribers. You can register today at tube1kchallenge.com. Okay, my favorite thing every single week is reading your reviews on Apple iTunes. Now, if you go, or Apple Podcasts, if you go over there and rate and review the podcast, we're able to read those here, and I get to see more of our Think community. It's my favorite thing to do, to read comments on YouTube, read comments on the Apple iTunes, or not iTunes. Is it podcast? It's Apple Podcast, right? Well, anyways, this is Arden. Arden says, Think Media Foundations Builder Maximizer. Yeah, I want to make a podcast about that, Arden. Think Media podcasts are fabulous. Information and application. Interesting and wonderful content and presentation. The things being taught in the manner of presentation make this a great place to learn and grow. Make your own channel more valuable. What they give you is directly applicable to your own use and growth. Very topical, funny, and entertaining. This is for you. Thanks, Sean and Heather. Well, Arden, thanks for being a part of our Think community. And what an amazing testimonial and just comment that you left there for us. I'm so grateful to have people like you inside of our community. We do. We try and make it topical and funny and entertaining. I mean, Sean sang driver's license on this one. You don't get that everywhere, folks. So really fun to have you as part of our Think community. And we're grateful that you are rating and reviewing and sharing this podcast. Well, in the next week's episode, we're going to go into part 2. And in part 2, Sean's going to be breaking down, what do you do once you make the video and it starts taking off? What's the next thing that you should do on your YouTube channel? He's going to be breaking that down because we've got case studies from ourselves and our community of what we've done when a video that we are trend surfing starts to blow up. Well, thanks for being on today's episode, and we will catch you in the next one. Bye.
Want to learn how everyday people are starting YouTube channels and making incredible income online? Learn the proven steps and newest strategies at the Grow with Video Live virtual 2-day conference. Get your ticket today at growwithvideolive.com.